to not be self-centered when texting. Say someone sends you this. You might be tempted to say something like, I love orange cats. You're talking about yourself. You're taking what they said and making it about you. The appropriate version would be, orange cats are the best. You've taken that from subjective to objective and opened the door for anyone to feel included. Notice how this text has symmetrical conversational weight. You've talked about yourself for the same amount of visual space as you've talked about them. You want to make sure you do this visual inspection of your messages to make sure the weight of each message is evenly distributed.
Today's sign is flower.
And in the blink of an eye, I have lost nearly 400 of them.
First off, good. Before this person tries to manipulate you to believing that they're fighting against some form of oppression that leftists on this app are justifying, remember that this entire debacle came from acknowledging that Palestinians in the Levant are indigenous to the Levant, particularly the region that encompasses Palestine. Instead of being honest, acknowledging the occupied territory, which is known as Israel, is a settler colonial project which actively oppresses and displaces Palestinians who are literally indigenous. This individual wants to conflate lineage through an ethno-religion as indigeneity and justify ethnostatism in 2023. No one is justifying the oppression of Jewish people. That is not the issue. The problem is settler colonialism.
Did you know that foraging is actually illegal in a lot of the United States today? It dates all the way back to the colonial period when foraging first became prohibited as a way of driving indigenous people off of their land. Then later on, it was used as a way of preventing recently freed black slaves from becoming self-sufficient, because not only did they use their skills in hunting and foraging to feed their families, but they would sell their wares, and white people didn't like that. In the 1880s, rural foragers living in the Adirondack Mountains here in New York State actually came under fire as a result of the recent conservationist movement at that time. It's obvious that once the people in power figured out that they could use this as yet another tool to continue to suppress non-white Americans, the working class, and poor people, that they were all about it. To this day, not only can you be fined for foraging, but you could actually go to jail. Back in 1986, famous forager wildman Steve Brill was arrested in a sting operation for, and I quote, snatching and eating dandelion greens from the meadows of Central Park. This became national news, and needless to say, it was a PR nightmare for the Parks Department, so they quickly dropped the charges, but they didn't really do anything to change the anti-foraging legislation in New York City. Even now, foraging is essentially banned with little room for exception. This is not unique to New York City. Foraging laws vary not only from state to state, but jurisdiction to jurisdiction, county to county, park to park, and even from year to year. Foraging laws across the country are confusing and convoluted and full of red tape. While I understand that there needs to be regulations in place to prevent overharvesting of native and endangered plants, that doesn't mean that we should all be punished for eating the weeds. Part of why we forage is because we want our environment to continue to thrive. Foragers go out into the woods to spend time in nature, enjoy all of the unique gifts that Mother Nature has to offer, and to free ourselves of the chains of mass agriculture. We're not the ones that are going out in the woods picking 50 pounds of American ginseng or hundreds of pounds of ramps. I encourage you to go out there and ethically forage and stick it to the man.
Hey, pastry time! Nobody wants to admit this, but homelessness is a choice. Made by cities who want people to be homeless. I had you there, didn't I? People like to use the narrative that homelessness is purely caused by substance abuse and financial irresponsibility, which is meritocratic propaganda. A small citywide rent increase could and has unhoused thousands of renters, not to mention that countless people are literally just a medical bill away from being homeless. The only city-approved option for existing as a homeless person is to use homeless shelters, which are often overcrowded, turn people away, and don't always guarantee more than a night's stay. And if you are forced to camp, the city will likely flush away so much money to absolutely brutalize you for needing a place to sleep. Investing in criminalization and hostile architecture makes up over 3 times as much spending per person than just investing in reasonable housing alternatives. This is a choice for cities, and they choose to brutalize homeless people instead of providing housing. They didn't even bake it!
Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you blow my mind. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you. Oh, Mickey, you're so fine. So fine, you blow my mind. Oh, Mickey, you're so.
Last year, I met a gigantic bowl for my husband who eats out of a pot and he seems to love it. And just as I thought my job is over, I saw this. Why is he putting his sandwich on the table? Well, Valentine's Day is around the corner, so I just decided to make him a sandwich plate in the shape of a sandwich. The key of an amazing sandwich is the bread. In this case, it's going to be made out of clay. I first drew a piece of toast. Should I call it bread or toast? On a piece of paper as the stencil, trace over it, go over the etching once more to release it from the slab of clay. I'm making this into a dish so that the sandwich can fit snugly inside, so it's kind of like a sandwichception. This is so cute. And in terms of the toppings, you guys know already, my husband is French, so he needs to have some cheese in his sandwich, or should I say fromage. Unfortunately, we can only find cheddar in this clay kitchen, so we're just rolling with that. And next we have some vegetables, and take a look at this. Freehand lettuce. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself. I probably had the most fun making this lettuce, and it looks so realistic after you ruffle up the edges. And a quick little sunset break. The last topping we're making today is an egg, and to be honest, I never know how to pronounce that in French. Is it if? Sorry. And we're done. Should we add more toppings? Let me know in the comments.
Denial is a river in Egypt.
In honor of Black History Month, today we're going to be doing a full face of makeup using only Black-owned beauty brands. Let's get right into this. I'm going to start with brows. I'm going in with the Ami Colé Brow Gel. You guys, Ami Colé has the most insane lip oils. If you have not tried them, I suggest you do. Let's go in with this brow gel though. I love the applicator on this because look at this side you can brush through, and then this side you can really shape. Obsessed. Okay, let's move on to foundation. We have my fellow Pisces queen, Rihanna. Fenty Beauty. This is the Blurring Skin Tint. You guys, I am a skin tint girly, and I've never tried this before, so I'm very excited to. I just love a skin tint because it gives you good coverage, and it feels just like so light on the skin. Okay, well, I think I just found my new favorite skin tint. I love the way this looks. Moving on to concealer. Juvia's Place. You guys, I love Juvia's Place. They are so affordable, and their products are so good. This is the Magic Concealer. Moving on to bronzer, this is Liss Beauty's Bronzer Stick, also a very affordable brand. And I've been wanting to try this, so let's waste no more time. Look at how pigmented this is, you guys. And it's so creamy. I cannot wait to blend this out. I am so here for it. I also got this cream blush from Liss in this shade. To die for. You guys. Look at this. This is so pigmented. It blends beautifully. And it was like $12? Okay, you guys, go to part 2 to see the final look.
What are they cooking? Black women are treated horribly in society. For example, medical and law enforcement professionals just kind of don't believe the symptoms and statements from black women, so they often don't get the medical treatment nor the justice they deserve. Not to say this doesn't happen with women in general, nor black men, but black women live at the intersection of those two identities, making their oppression unique and extra potent. This should not be a revelation, by the way. If you didn't know this, that means you were choosing not to pay attention. But there is a cultural example of this that I think of a lot, and that example is what happened to Megan Thee Stallion. Imagine if your friend shot you, and there's video evidence of you bleeding out of your bullet wound, and you press charges on your friend who shot you, because he shot you. And then because of this, pockets of culture, the internet, and people in your work industry are like, you didn't get shot, you're just lying for attention. It might be a dramatic example, but black women have to put up with that shit all the time. I want to eat that, please.
Shit like this brings the movement down. Everyone's a feminist until there is a spider around.